Hello, my name is Olivia Bausinger, and this is Insider Travel Report. I'm here today at the Cruise Planners Convention 2019 with the modest yet very successful Richard Steiff, who is one of Cruise Planners' top producing travel advisors. Hello, Richard. Thank you for being here.
Hi, how are you?
I'm doing great. I was just at the awards ceremony and I saw you amongst about 100 other agents who were top producing for this year with the company, correct?
That's correct. There's about 100 of us right now that are considered the top producing agents.
Now, what makes someone a top producing agent? I'm going to take today to kind of learn your secrets and tricks of the trade so that our audience can follow suit one day.
Well, in Cruise Planners, to be a top producing agent, they usually say you're selling more than $1 million a year in travel. I would say every top producing agent is an expert in customer service and in making sure they're always reaching out to their clients.
Those are already some tricks we're getting. Okay, thank you, Richard. So I want to hear a little bit about your story and what's made you successful. So tell me a little bit about where you live, your family, what you did before Cruise Planners, and how you got involved in the travel agency and Cruise Planners specifically.
Well, that's asking a lot.
It is, yes. Pressure's on.
Pressure's on. Well, way back 30 years ago, I was in the military where I learned my work ethic and my love of travel. When I got out of the military, I met my husband. We started our own business that was a 24/7 dispatching company where I learned always to be available to my clients. But maybe 25 years ago, I took online classes to become a travel agent. And when it was all said and done, back then you needed a $50,000 bond to become a travel agent and have a travel agency. Well, I was a young guy. I didn't have that kind of money. So I put it on a back burner and moved on with my life. And then about 7 years ago on Facebook, a travel agency was saying, we're looking for travel agents. So I hit them up. Within 6 months, I had about $200,000 worth of sales, and I realized that I needed not to work for someone, but to work for myself and enter Cruise Planners, where I own my own franchise agency and can do things my way. And here I am.
And here you are. And thank you for your service to our country as well. That's very cool. So it seems like you've had many snaky roads to get here, but I know that Cruise Planners often starts people really from the beginning, and maybe they weren't even in travel, kind of like yourself prior. They may have a love of it, but the technology and the support really helps you find your ultimate success. So what would you say if you could give advice to someone who is kind of at a middle of the road, kind of trying to find their next career move? Would you say that Cruise Planners would be a good idea for them? How do you think they should break into it? What do you think?
Well, I think Cruise Planners is absolutely the way to go. I actually looked at several major travel organizations, and I chose Cruise Planners, number one, because of the technology they had at the time. The ability to have a customer database, to reach out to customers through electronic emails that were all put together for you so you could do it. And the training Cruise Planners provides, it's nonstop. I mean, I'm 7 years in with Cruise Planners, and I'm still doing hundreds of training classes a year.
Oh, so, okay, that intrigues me a bit. Tell me about what initial training you got when you began.
Well, the first thing Cruise Planners did was introduce me to cruise lines and learning about each cruise line, what the differences are between them, and how to differentiate the client. That, you know, the Carnival client is not the Norwegian client, is not the Disney client, is not the Regent client. And Cruise Planners helped differentiate who the client was and put into me that you have to know the product. If you don't know the product, you're not going to be able to marry the right client to the right product.
Absolutely. I think that is very sound advice. I obviously you're years into it now, but what continued training do you receive from Cruise Planners today?
Anymore for me now, it's always ongoing product knowledge, but also with Cruise Planners, it's marketing and PR and how to go out there and find the clients, how to keep the clients, how to keep giving consistent good service so that the client doesn't find someone else. Because, you know, in sales, the old adage is you're only as good as your last sell. So you have to stay out there, have to stay in front of your clients. And Cruise Planners gives us the tools to keep reinventing ourselves, keep getting out in front of the clients, keep finding new ways to say, hey, I'm here to give you something. So.
Absolutely, and I noticed yesterday in the auditorium when the new tools for 2020 were unveiled, there was lots of excitement. Do you have a favorite, or is there anything you're most excited about coming up?
Absolutely. Well, yesterday they announced that they've revamped our groups section within our CP Max program, so that now if I want to email 200 people going on a cruise, I can hit one button and send that same email to all of them and communicate with them immediately. For me, that is the biggest thing they announced yesterday. And they announced quite a few things, but that one, the time it will save, because I'm a groups guy, I normally do groups, the time that will save is amazing.
I certainly agree, and I heard one extremely loud woohoo in the audience when they announced that, and that might have been you.
Very well could have been.
No, I mean, this is my first Cruise Planners event, and it's just so lively. It seems like a giant family. Do you think events like this help you in sales? Would you recommend them to other advisors?
Well, I actually do recommend Cruise Planners events to other cruise planners, because it's not just about the training, it's about the camaraderie, it's about the networking. I could rattle off 3 or 4 other cruise planners that are here today that have given me the names of vendors and suppliers that I should go look to for certain things, that now I do hundreds of thousands of dollars with those suppliers that I never would have thought of if that specific cruise planner hadn't said, hey Richard, I know you're doing this, try this person. Mm-hmm. I think it's the biggest thing about this event is the networking with each other.
Absolutely, I would very much agree, and also a bit of fun as well.
There's a lot of fun.
A lot of fun. So you said before that now your focus isn't solely on cruises, and you do escorted tours, and you're doing more of these kind of group mentality type travel experiences. Can you tell me a little bit about how you've kind of gone and merged into this line? Are you still doing cruises, and do you have a cruise that you kind of work with the most?
Well, I'd say cruises is always going to be my first love. I do a lot of cruising. As far as a cruise line, when I started, I got together with Norwegian Cruise Lines, and the relationship has just grown year after year after year. I have a great relationship with them. I know if my clients are going to be on their cruise, they're going to take care of my people, and I love that. What's moved me away from them a little is just, this is a giant world, and there's a whole lot to see out there. And if I want to do business with everybody, which I do, I have to be able to offer them different things. So recently, I offered a land tour to Ireland, followed by a land tour in Amsterdam, and then a river cruise, all to the same group of people. So it was 19 days, but I put the best of everything together, and it was fantastic.
Yeah, that does sound fantastic. Please sign me up as well. So I guess my next question is getting a little personal. We're digging deeper, but can you tell me how you've grown your sales, and if you would say what your sales are today?
I think the way my sales are growing now is I've taken to doing exclusive invites to clients and current clients and new clients, where I invite them to go somewhere in the world that I'm escorting. And it's all about the way I treat them, provide concierge service that's building my business, because I invite you. The next one, you're inviting your sister, who's inviting her friend, who's inviting your dad. So now I've got 5 of you where I started with 1. My sales, I'm proud to say I'm ending this year just over $2 million in sales. And I started at 0.
Wow, well, that is awesome, and that is quite the success story. So what are your secrets to these $2 million in sales?
Well, as I mentioned to you off camera, is that I don't know how to say it without it sounding freaky, but I believe you have to continually touch the client. You know,
yes.
If it's an e-card, if it's a trifold you send out, if it's a phone call you make, if it's through Facebook, you know, this is a relationship-based business, and if you're not continually involved in the relationship with your client, you're not going to keep your client. They're not going to refer people to you. So I over touch my clients. You know, everyone. All my clients are welcome to follow me on Facebook. I will talk to them on Facebook, and it becomes a relationship, not just I'm selling you your next adventure. Mm-hmm. It's more of we're working together to find what that next thing you want to experience is all about.
Absolutely. So your advice to other advisors would be to really cultivate and maintain those relationships with clients then?
I think that's the number one thing, is cultivate and maintain a relationship with everyone you come in contact with, because you never know. That guy that just bought a 3-day cruise from you for $199, you treated him so well that next year when his family of 90 wants to do a family reunion, he's going to tell the family, you got to call Richard, because Richard knows how to take care of you. I think relationship is everything.
I would very much agree. So with all of this success and the journey you've been on, can you talk about any pitfalls or setbacks you've encountered, and perhaps how others in the business can avoid them?
Well, I recall one of my first cruises that I sold. This couple came to me, they wanted to go on a cruise. I sold them X Cruise Line, which was a wonderful cruise line, is a fantastic cruise line. They came back to me and said it was the worst experience they had, that they hated the entertainment, they hated the food, that they wanted to go back on Y Cruise Line, which was their preferred cruise line. I was so new, I hadn't taken the time to find out what they liked and what they were used to. I put them on what I thought they would like. And that, my biggest pitfall is, don't sell from your own thoughts, don't sell from your own pocket. Get to know what the client wants. Ask a lot of questions.
Questions and getting to know your client. So two ways to avoid pitfalls. I like that. So my next question is, looking forward, what does the future hold for you, Richard? What does it hold for your franchise specifically?
Ultimately, I want to just keep being more and more successful. I want to bring on more associates. Maybe 10 years down the road, I'm no longer the guy out there pushing the travel. I'm the guy that's doing nothing but escorting people and spending time with the clients and getting to know them and showing them the world, because I would love to spend all my time showing people the places I've been and the places I want to go.
I love that. And obviously travel is in your blood. It's quite evident.
I would say that's the other thing. Travel's got to be your passion. I mean, I had another career for 30 years that I didn't realize I wasn't in love with until I got involved in travel. And my family, my friends are like, you should have been doing this from day one, because when I talk about travel, I light up, my personality changes, I just enjoy every single thing about it. Whether I'm selling the travel or just being with someone talking about travel, it excites me.
No, and it's truly evident, so I very much see that. So in terms of growth for you in sales, how are you going to achieve further goals? How are you going to elevate that 2 million to 3 million to 8 million? Do you have any strategies you can share?
Well, this convention's part of that. There's people at this convention that I think of as mentors that I look up to, and I look and see the way they're marketing, the way they're talking to their clients. For example, if you were in there, they mentioned one of the agents out there asked his clients to send him a picture as they board the ship. And by the time, just to make sure everything's okay, and by the time they get off the ship, he's got a framed picture waiting for them at home.
Wow.
I thought that's genius, because that's that personal touch. And I think the way to grow my business, because I don't want to stay at 2 million, I want to be at 3, 4, 5, is all about the personal touch. I keep going back to that word touch.
You do. But I agree with you. It really is about that personal level of service when you are representing yourself and other brands to potential buyers.
Yeah, I would say a few years ago I started doing destination weddings. And I realized that I was having trouble getting officiants, so I went and got myself ordained so that I can do the weddings myself for my clients. I can't tell you how close and personal that puts you with a bride, a groom, and a family, truly. And now you become part of their family because you're the guy that married their son and daughter, and it's been magical, every single one of those weddings.
Well, I can only imagine what kind of connections you make, and you almost answered my last question already. I was going to ask you, if you had to narrow it down to your favorite aspect about being a travel advisor, what would you say, Richard?
My favorite aspect about being a travel advisor would be the ability to help people open up their imagination and see what's out there that they never thought they could do. Like a couple years ago, cruise planners took me to Machu Picchu, which I never on my bucket list until I got there. And now I get to tell people about places that they've never thought of, never heard of, and I see them light up. And that's, for me, that's the best thing about this whole thing, is seeing people get excited about travel.
I agree, and I see you get excited and light up just talking about
Thank
it.
you.
So I very much believe you, and I wish you well in 2020 as you continue to travel and grow your sales. And thank you for chatting with Insider Travel Report today.
Thank you.
My name is Olivia Balsinger, and this is Insider Travel Report.